upright in lock position. All carry-on luggage. Final destination.
Got a job at the airport. That's 14 shops. We haven't received.
You got my guns there with Seal Lippman, with the class, 2 nights of class.
They're saying if we don't have the
The first thing